Hey East Point, we're back for another special edition of The Point. I'm your host Shannon Wiggins, and today I'm here with Dominic Maldonado, our GIS coordinator.
Yes, hello. Good morning, Shannon. Great to be here. Really looking forward to this interview and sharing some of our stuff that we have going on in GIS.
Thank you so much for being here, as well as Adam Gray, the Assistant Director in our Solid Waste Department.
Hey Shannon, how you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
So they're here to talk to us about their experience at the ESRI Conference, as well as how GIS is improving operations in our solid waste department. So let's get to it. Talk to me about what exactly the ESRI Conference is and what your experience was like.
Yes, of course. So the ESRI Conference, ESRI being short for Environmental Systems Research Institute, they are basically a large GIS company, international, and they host a lot of different conferences and events to really engage the whole communities, workshops, and all different types of people throughout the world in various sectors, ranging from solid waste to private sector, construction, engineering, nonprofits, you name it. And in local government, it's a very large sector, fortunately, with a whole lot of really exciting things going on. So this particular conference was for the Southeast region, so Florida, Georgia, Carolinas. And we were invited to present there on behalf of a lot of the work that we have been doing. So that was it in a nutshell. And perhaps, Adam, do you have any notes you want to add to that?
Okay, so it was a very interesting conference. We basically got to showboat some of the things that me and Dominic have been working with the solid waste as far as getting rid of archaic, methods when it comes to solid waste and how we handle things.
And this was located in beautiful West Palm Beach, Florida?
Yes, West Palm,
Very beautiful.
So I know that added to the experience.
Oh, yeah.
And so how exactly is GIS improving operations for the solid waste department here in East Point?
Okay, well, when I first was hired, I was handed a walkie-talkie and a notepad. So very old methods on how they was handling things. I just wanted to kind of bring a new school flavor. And Dominique was there to help me institute some things that will bring us to the current century that we're in right now. Number one, by using tablets, that was a major thing, and it's also good for the environment and saving paper. So that's one of the things that was major to me.
Right. So from that, before I met Adam, again, they were using lots of paper, notepads, and sticky notes everywhere, which isn't unlike a lot of other offices. But using a lot of the tools and resources we have in GIS, I said, well, let's leverage some of our existing resources, mobile devices, phones, tablets, and even desktop computers. And how can we make one system that streamlines a customer call all the way through the processing that it needs to go through in the solid waste department, and make sure that the customer can check on their status online, or just be able to relay that information and the actions thereof back to our city management. So that way they are fully transparent of all the activities that occurred, how many dumps were taking place, how much money are we spending and or bringing in, and then that will just save us a lot of time that we could then use to research and improve our time in services and other avenues. So that was, in a nutshell, how it worked. And from there, we began implementing little small pieces. So one particular application is called Workforce. And it's, again, developed by the same vendor, ESRI, and allows us to install an application on a device or a desktop, and it will track that user's location. And you can just go ahead and send them requests, assignments, and they can check them marked and complete, decline, and all these metrics are all combined, and we can go back and see how much time are we spending at each location, how are our numbers looking as far as the burn down goes. It's very similar to an agile development workflow using a lot of software companies. So we're able to implement that here on a much smaller scale and see some very, very significant results.
Okay, let's talk about the results. What are the results you're seeing?
We're trying to totally eliminate paper. So my guy that goes and pick up the bulk trash, he doesn't use paper at all anymore. He loves that. He doesn't have to stop. It's also safer as well too, because a lot of the times I have to call them, to tell him about a bulk order, and he basically has to pull over, get his cell phone out. Well, first he has to pull over and then call me back because he can't answer while he's driving. So that's another inconvenience. So it cuts down on the time frames. It also cuts down on basically being unsafe. So it's a win-win situation.
And so what is the knowledge that you all brought back from the ESRI conference?
Well, personally, I went there. I saw a lot of a lot of citizens using a lot of the newer tech that I had yet to implement. So one of them was a real-time service server, and so it allows people to basically monitor all types of traffic and information and data that goes on almost anywhere in the world. Take that and say when some event or trigger occurs, send a notification or create another copy of something or just trigger an entirely new event in itself. So I believe it was in South Carolina, Charleston, they had one set up, and it gave me some ideas of things that we could use it for here in the city, being able to quickly capture that information and relay it back out.
And any other technology that you all are using, particularly for your department, to engage with the customers?
Well, with the GIS, our GeoPage, they can go online, they can put in their address and find out when their trash day is. They can also do Kirby requests, and if Kirby is broken or damaged, they can also, if they have bulk trash out, they can request a bulk pickup. So they have a lot of options that they can use.
So where can they find all this information?
Yes, the information can be found at our main website, www.eastpointcity.org. And from there on that main page, you'll go to Quick Links. Simply click, drop down, you'll see GIS interactive maps. From there, not only is it our entire open data portal, but you'll also be able to go to each individual department, solid waste being one of them, and you can see all the different services and applications that we've been building. There's always more coming, so please stay tuned for updates.
And speaking of staying tuned, are there any other future projects in the works between these two departments that we can look forward to?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we continuously working, and it's a work in progress. We're starting from a situation where we had nothing, so we're building up to where it could be great. So it's going to take some time to get there. So these are just our beginning stages. So we're just excited to show you guys what we have to offer.
Anything else you guys like to share?
Well, I really wish I could at the moment, but a lot of these solutions are still in beta. And I don't want to give away too many details while they are still under development, but we have some very, very good things coming down the pipe to optimize a lot of our own internal traffic that should hopefully save lots of cash and lots of time for everyone, as well as furthering that whole paperless campaign that we want to get part of and really just making everybody's life easier. So from the end user all the way to us, and just making a 24-hour availability, very transparent government.
All right. Well, we look forward to everything that you all have in store for us. Thank you so much for joining me today, and continue to keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Annie.
All right. And thank you guys for tuning in to this edition of The Point. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.